Now let's try to understand how we can actually use this. So first of all, let's create an API which would allow me to get all users. Okay, so just say we have an API named as get all users. One more API which would be creating is get specific or single user. Okay, get single user. Then we have one more API, add user. Okay, so these three APIs. One more important thing is delete user, and one more thing is update user. Okay, these are all the things which I would add: delete, update, and get. So here you can see that each user here has a unique ID. Okay, you can see each user here as a unique ID. So this is very important to find a specific user. Okay, for example, you are searching someone on Instagram, so you actually find that user using their Instagram user ID. Okay, user ID is very unique, username is very unique, so you can see this must be unique. Okay, ID is very unique, and it, according to this, we are going to find a specific document to update, or to get the document, or to delete that specific document. Okay, document means this single object, right? So now we want to create these APIs. So first of all, let's talk about get users API. So we would simply say router dot get. Inside this, guys, I'm just going to say if someone calls slash users. Okay, so slash user APIs slash users, then we would simply send a request comma response, and we need to simply get data. So how we would get, we would simply call the function which we created to read data from file, and this read data from file would be giving us JSON format. Okay, then after that, okay, I think there is some issue here, let me just check. Duplicate parameter, okay, actually, okay, yeah, it's actually req comma res. Okay, now after this we got the users. Okay, then we simply need to res dot json, and we would simply send the user. So I would just say that suppose we got the users, right? So we would simply say we have a message here, all users data, and you would just send the users. Okay, so now let's try to fetch this. Okay, so we would simply go here, and here I'm just going to type users. So you can see I'm able to get the users. Okay, I'm able to get the users. Now if I want to get some specific user, that means with the specific ID, that means I wanted something like this. If I provide ID as 2, I want to get this. Okay, I want to get this. If I provide ID as suppose 3, I would get this user. How can I actually do this? So for that we can create a specific API. So again, I would just copy this and I would paste it here. And here, guys, you have to add a colon sign, and the ID would be provided. Okay, so once you provide the ID into the path, now you have to extract that ID. That means when you are fetching the API, you are providing the ID into the path. Now the backend would get this ID, extract this ID from the path, and then according to that, we would perform a search operation. Okay, so how we can actually do this? So we would simply say const user ID equals req.params.id. So if you want, if you have some parameters, so you can simply say req.params.id. id is what? Id is the parameter name. Suppose if it was id xyz, so you need to write id xyz. Okay, so that's the difference. So id parameter is, you can give whatever variable name is here, you have to write it here, you have to extract that from the path. Okay, that's it. So right now I've simply said just extract it from the path, and then after this we got the ID, we have all the users. Now from this ID we have to extract that specific user. How we can do this? So we would simply say const user equals, now we have the user array, right? We have the users array, so we can simply perform the find operation. Okay, so you know that this is the complete array, right? This is a complete array which contains some objects. Okay, so I'm just saying in this complete array, just perform the find operation, and I'm just saying find that user whose ID matches with this extracted ID. That means I'm just going to look for each user, and I'm going to find that ID which matches with my parameter ID. Okay, so that's what I have done. Once I find that user, so I would simply say if user. Okay, so I would just say that if user, then I would simply say res dot json and user found. But if user is not found, So I would simply say aris.json user not found. Okay, like this. So now let's try to use this. So here guys, if I just reload, and one more thing here, I need to provide the API ID value. Okay, so user ID. Suppose if I provide ID as 2, what I must get? So I must get Jane Smith. Okay, right? If I provide ID as 3, what I must get? I must get Bob Johnson. Okay, similarly, you can provide ID. Suppose if I provide any random ID, okay, if I provide random ID which does not exist, so you can see user not found. Okay, so that's how you can perform get operation for all, get operation for single user. Now, how to perform add operation, delete operation, update operation? So in your browser, if you are just calling the URL, you can only perform the get operation. To perform the post operation or things like that, you have to write proper code into your front end, but we can't write that right now because we are only learning backends. How can I do this? So first of all, when you would be learning React.js, then you would be fetching those APIs, then you can understand more. But right now, we have a tool named as Postman. So you can simply search for this. So you have to search for Postman. So here guys, I would simply visit, and you simply need to click on download whatever operating system you have. So you can simply download this. Once you download and install that, after that you simply need to open Postman. So I would simply open the Postman software here. So this is the software which you would first of all download and install. Then it would look something like this. And guys, just make sure you create an account with this so that your data, whatever APIs you create or save, would be saved forever. So even if you delete the software and open it again, so things would be saved. Okay, so that very beneficial, right? So here, if I just create a blank collection, and let me just name this collection as something Mon Mon Tutorials. Okay, Mon tutorials. And inside this, I'm just going to create a folder named as what? User CRUD. Okay, user CRUD. Right, so create, read, update, delete. And here I'm going to click on add request. So here, if I just pass the same URL, what URL? So if I just pass the same URL, copy this and paste it here, check that this is the get method, right? Now if I click on send, you can see user not found. If I provide the correct ID, can see I'm able to get the data. Okay, so this for get methods, you can just perform any get method here very easily. Can see it's working fine. Okay, it's working fine.